Hi, my name is Kristen. I am the co-founder of Pure and Simple Beauty Incorporated. We have three spas in Toronto, one in Oakville, Ontario. We specialize in natural and organic spa services and skincare. The reason we got into this is because we felt that there was a gap in the market in terms of seeing beauty from the inside out. In terms of understanding what a skincare regime is, traditionally there's been three steps. There's cleanser, toner, and moisturizer. But I think that more and more, because I find women and men, their skin have been just progressively more and more dehydrated. I don't know if it's a stress-related thing. I don't know if it's like a dietary thing, but I find most people have dehydrated skin, that we need a little bit more than a cleanser, toner, moisturizer. I personally would advocate someone use a cleanser, yes, a toner, which in most cases I would say definitely avoid alcohol in your toner. A serum, which is a very sort of watery moisturizer almost. It's usually using like botanicals and plant waters, but it'll give your skin a lot of hydration. A moisturizer, and then sometimes an oil. The oil is, neither here nor there. Sometimes people don't need an oil. But again, thinking about that there might be more than one moisturizing step is important. And then lastly, I would finish with a sunblock for daytime. When you want to determine your skin type, usually you go to the cosmetic counter and they'll say you're dry, you're oily, or combination. But for me, what I think is much more important is how much water you have in your skin and how much oil you have in your skin. So it's not important whether you're combination or not per se. You just want to know, are you dehydrated or do you have an excess of oil? So someone who is oily and dehydrated will need, something like a serum will give them a lot of water and hydration, and may not need an extra layer of oil. Whereas someone who's dry and dehydrated is going to need maybe all those steps. To determine whether they're dehydrated, it's pretty easy. You just basically either pinch or give at the skin, and you'll see that there's little crepey dehydration lines. And if you're oily, you usually have a sheen of oil as well as some enlarged pores. Now, it's a little bit interesting to get into the discussion of oil, because sometimes when people are very dehydrated, they produce more oil. So they think, I'm oily, I should just stay away from everything. I shouldn't use any moisturizers or anything like that. But their skin is actually, sort of crying out for water and oil, so it starts to overcompensate by producing more sebum. The best way I have found to combat this is to actually give them a face oil to put on as well as a serum, but that just it makes your skin feel like, okay, I have something is protecting my skin and I don't have to produce more. So, whether you have oily skin or not, you don't want to avoid moisturizer at all. But also, if you're over oiling because you're dehydrated, you might want to think about incorporating an oil product at night. When you're thinking about your skincare regime and weather, I think it's really a great sort of comparison to our clothing and how we layer. I like layering a lot. That's why I say serum, moisturizer, oil. You don't always have to use an oil. You don't always have to use a serum, but depending on the time of year. So, when it's summertime and it's moist and humid and it's hot, you need to use your sunblock, but you may just opt for a lighter moisturizer. In the wintertime, personally, I'm using a serum, a cream, and an oil on top, even though I'm not looking to do anti-aging, just because it's so drying. And dehydration and dryness will give way to sensitivity, to breakouts even, and premature signs of aging. So I think that especially in the wintertime, you really want to comfort your skin and protect it against the elements, whereas in the summertime, you don't need to use as much oil or moisture, but you're gonna protect your skin from the elements in a different way by using sunblock. Our skincare needs to change as we age because our body goes through fluctuations. As we age, our skin cell turnover actually slows down. So we produce less skin cells, or we produce skin cells at a slower rate, but also they shed at a slower rate. So I find that, as we age, we get this buildup of dead skin cells, which creates a dryness on the surface of our skin. This means that as we age, not only do we want to give more moisture, because again, we're not producing as many new young skin cells, but also we want to exfoliate that off to just keep making sure that our skin is not, again, flooded with this crust of dead skin cells. Because those dead skin cells will also create a barrier of which you can't absorb your moisturizer properly. But also, we did talk about hydration and water versus oil, and you just really want to bone up on your moisturizer. So you want to use a serum and you want to use a heavy product over top. In terms of if an individual is maturing and they're looking for intense anti-aging, I do advocate those 3 moisturizers, which is the serum, a moisturizer, and an oil over top. At-home treatments are great. There's a few things you can do. First, you can exfoliate your skin, which we discussed. I advocate using an exfoliant that is actually in a mask form. I find that if you put a mask on and you absorb sort of the moisture from the actual mask, and then you have little granules and you're scrubbing off, that the exfoliant is a lot more gentle because your skin is moist and it's softened and it's not being irritated by being like abraded with dryness. The second thing that I would say about an exfoliant is you have to choose whether you're going to do a physical or a non-physical. So a physical is just an actual scrub and a non-physical is a peel. So if someone has breakouts or acne and a lot of bacteria in their skin, they might want to opt for something that's going to be not abrasive and sort of breaking their skin, etc. The other thing you can do at home is steam your skin. And this is like actually one of my favorite things to do, and it's really simple. All you need to do is take boil a pot of water, take it off the hot plate, and put a towel over your head, sort of entrapping the steam. It's very similar to like a nasal steam you would do when you have, a cold or a flu. I think that it's great for opening up the pores, you sweat things out, and I think it's great because you actually detoxify your skin from a lower level. And I find that people who also are prone to acne really find that it gives them results because they don't have to extract their skin with their hands and risk scarring, but just gently detoxify and clear their pores out. And then lastly, like a great mask. And you can get masks for various things. It can be a clay mask for detoxifying, it can be a replenishing mask. One of my favorites is just a simple egg white mask. You just crack an egg whites, and it's just great for moisture, it's great for firming, and you sort of see those immediate results with something so simple. Oh yeah, and if you want to find out any more information on any of the topics I was discussing, you can definitely find it in my book, Beauty Pure and Simple, which should be available almost in all bookstores.